So yeah, at Kuzuka Lodge Game Reserve in the interior of the Eastern Cape, sitting at the foothills of the Cedarburg mountain range on a band of Cape shales where subtropical thicket dominates. So this particular form of subtropical thicket, arid thicket, Sunday's arid thicket, is remarkable in the amount of biomass it houses for a semi-arid area, and it's largely due to the large stem succulent Portulacaria afra, which you can see in the foreground there, forming extensive canopies and altering the ecosystem, facilitating many of the ecosystem functions and facilitating the establishment of other species, particularly large woody species. I'll just give a brief overview of the important functional groups in arid thicket, starting with the succulents, the trees, the large spinescent shrubs, the climbers, lianas, and finally the herbaceous layer. So Portulacaria afra of the Didieraceae, a large stem succulent, ecosystem engineer in arid thicket. As we can see, just a bit of an example of the microclimate it can create, which aids in litter production, soil water retention, and also protection from the sun, which can be important sites for the establishment of other thicket species. Specbome being part of the Didieraceae, most of its relatives are found in Madagascar. I think there's one other species found to the northwest of South Africa, but in this area there's only Portulacaria afra. Other important families or succulent families include the Abdul-lateef, so those are the aloes. In intact arid thicket we often have aloe speciosa like this one emergent. Some of the open areas, aloe ferox, forming a large succulent tree as well, and then smaller aloes like aloe microcantha, aloe striata, sporadically sort of scattered throughout the landscape. An exceptionally diverse family of succulents in arid thicket is the Crassulaceae. The largest example here in front, Crassula ovata, the jade plant, but smaller crassulas such as this over here, Crassula perforata, are very common on the fringes of bush clumps especially. I think we have Crassula ovata, perforata here, and then also another small crassula here, Crassula tetragona, which can root very quickly from cuttings, little pieces of the plant that have broken through by animals. Crassula rogersii over here as well. I think there's about 20 species of Crassula that you can find in this slope alone. Other succulent families are the facies, the Zembranthemaceae or the Azoaceae. I think the only one immediate example I can find here is the sprawling succulent Azoon glenoides, which is rather more common in disturbed areas. We also have the Euphorbiaceae, so the Noors, Euphorbia coarulescens, a dominant component in Noorsveld. Not a lot of Noors here, but there is Euphorbia heptagona. Of course, the Asteraceae, the sunflower family as well, with many succulent examples, mostly in the genus Senecio. Not too many tree species in arid thicket. Most of these quite not really get into a tall stature. Far more diverse in music forms of thicket. However, trees like this one, Popia capensis, Scotia afra, Scotia latifolia, the bourbines, as well as the Vidgat Boschia, you will find in Arid Thicket. These isolated trees often being the last remnants of thicket integrated landscapes and forming pseudo savannas. Arid Thicket has a fair richness of large woody shrubs, very often spinescent, such as this Grewia robusta of the Malvaceae. Not quite spinescent, but its architecture is one that it's not comfortable to browse from. There are some spines on this shrub, however. This is Patalicia pyracantha, an extremely diverse family in most forms of thicket. The Celestraceae, Patalicia, Gymnosporia, Mastroxylon and Matinus being some genera. And we also have a Circia terota, another very common large shrub in Arid Thicket. The vines, climbers and lianas, also in a very important functional group in thicket. Asparagus, one of the richest in this guild. This is Asparagus crassiculatus here. It's also other species like Racesis, the wild grape, and things like Kedrostis. And Capparis, often tangling those who walk through this dense bush. And finally, just looking at some of the herbaceous elements, often in the shaded areas of the understory of Spectrum and other shrubs. Barlaria obtusa here, and we have an example of a geophyte, Sansevieria Ethiopica, the mother-in-law's tongue. And under the shade of a large papia tree, Solanum tomentosum, some Pelargonium there, some grasses, Eragrostis obtusa. So these are just some examples of the diverse array of life forms and growth forms in Arid Thicket, all in a pretty small area, about 200 square meters or so, that I've walked throughout this video.